Today we're going to take a look at the Epiphone 339.
Welcome to the Padded Pedal Room with your host, Mr. DiMarzio.
For those of you that know me, you know I'm a big fan of the Epiphone 339s. We're going to take a look at the new Epiphone, inspired by Gibson, Epiphone 339, and just go over some of the features that have changed. If we take a look at the inspired by Gibson Epiphone 339, first difference that we'll notice is the headstock. They went back to the original headstock, I believe. I think it's the Kalamazoo headstock. If I'm wrong, just mark it in the comments. But they went to the headstock that's more reminiscent of a kind of like a Gibson headstock, I would say. Not quite, but it's more sleeker, let's say. It's got a less pronounced hump here. On the old ones versus the new ones, the keys have changed. They got a set of Grover keys on this one, whereas the old one used to have the Epiphone Deluxe Tombstone keys. This neck has a modern C shape, or a rolled C, I guess, whereas the older one had a D profile, slim D profile neck. The older one had coil taps, so you were able to split the coils, whereas this one does not have any coil taps. Those are some of the main differences on the new one versus the old one. So let's give it a listen. For tone right now, we're using the Headrush Gigboard. We're using a matchless amp with a 2x12 Celestian Blue open back IR with a little bit of reverb in there and a little bit of EQ. So this is what it sounds like with both pickups. Here's the bridge pickup. I got the tone off a little bit because it's a little brittle. So these are some of the sounds of the Epiphone 339. Now there's a couple of things that I gotta mention. Now I'm sure this is probably just some one-ups on this, but there's some things that I noticed on this one versus my older one that we've seen before. First thing I noticed is that the quality control on the newer ones seem to be a little lacking compared to the older ones. First thing I noticed is that the frets are a little bit rough. I mean, it's possible. A guitar that's of a little bit lesser quality, I guess, you know, over time they try and cut a bit of corners, make a bit more profit. So I don't know if that's what it is, but the frets definitely need some dressing. The other thing I noticed is that the string, the small E string, is a little bit too close to the edge, and I think that's basically the nut was badly cut. And it's unfortunate because this one actually has a Graphtec nut on it, and it looks like I'm going to have the nut changed so that it'll sit properly on the fretboard. The other thing I notice, I don't know if it's visible, if you take a close look at the keys, you will notice, if you're able to see it, if you take a close look at the keys, this one here is actually crooked. They didn't screw it in at the right place. It was off. So the quality control is a little bit lacking versus the older ones. or my older one, or maybe it's just a one of, and because most of the time I have to admit that the Epiphones do put out a good product. But these are a couple of things that I've noticed on this particular one that I have in my hands. So, and oh, another thing that I noticed is that the pot on this one here is loose. I mean, it's probably no big deal, and I hope the pot is not broken. But I'm gonna tighten that up, and we're gonna see if it's just that. If not, I may have to change the pot on that one too. Yeah, this one too. The pots are loose, and the pots being loose, I had that also on my on the other Epiphone. So I don't know if it's just, you know, maybe with the temperature changes and stuff. But anyways, we'll take a look at it. So before I leave you, we will give one last listen to the Epiphone inspired by Gibson Epiphone 339. Well, I added some green JRC, basically a tube screener. We'll give it a listen.